Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone's eyes are on you, judging, analyzing, reading you without even saying a word? Or maybe you felt that strange tension, that sensation that someone is secretly manipulating your mood, your choices, your very thoughts. It's as if there's a hidden game going on and you're caught in the middle, unsure of who's really in control. Maybe you're experiencing that quiet paranoia. The feeling that others know more about you than you realize, that they're always one step ahead. What if I told you there's a way to turn the tables? What if behind every subtle glance, every calculated word, there's a strategy, a psychological blueprint that you can learn? Imagine having the power to read anyone instantly, to understand their deepest motivations, their fears, their desires, and use that knowledge to influence, to persuade, to dominate. Yes, to truly see through the masks they wear and uncover what's real beneath. That's what this video is about. We're going to unlock the secrets of Machiavelli's 14 psychological tactics, the timeless strategies that have been used by rulers, spies, and master manipulators for centuries. These aren't tricks or gimmicks. They're ancient principles rooted in philosophy, psychology, and strategy. Principles that, if mastered, can give you an edge in any social situation. You see, beneath every interaction lies a hidden power dynamic. Understanding it is the key to not just surviving, but thriving. To influence others without them even realizing it. To see through their lies, their facades, their manipulations. And most importantly, to protect yourself from being played. If you've ever felt powerless in a conversation, like you're always trying to catch up, then this is your chance to change everything. Because knowledge is power, and reading people is the ultimate form of influence. Throughout this video, I'll share with you practical, proven tactics that you can start applying today. Simple, effective, and brutal in their clarity. If this topic has made you think, if it stirred something deep inside, then I invite you to subscribe now. Because here, we talk about what no one else dares to reveal, the raw, uncomfortable truths about human nature and power. This isn't just theory, it's a revolution of your mind, and it begins now. Have you ever felt like you're constantly fighting an invisible battle inside your mind, as if you're trapped in a never-ending loop of doubt and confusion? You go through your day pretending everything's fine, but deep down, there's this nagging sense that you're missing something vital, something that could change everything if only you knew how to see through the masks others wear. You sense that people are hiding their true intentions, their fears, their vulnerabilities, and you wonder if you're the only one left who can't quite figure them out. It's like trying to read a book in a language you barely understand, and every time you think you're getting close, the meaning slips away again, leaving you frustrated and helpless. Inside, you feel this crushing conflict, the desire to connect, to understand, to protect yourself from being manipulated, but also the fear that your efforts are futile. You know that people can be masters of deception, wearing smiles that hide their real motives, and it makes your trust fragile. You're caught in this internal struggle. Do you keep trying to decipher the unspoken messages, risking vulnerability, or do you shut down, pushing everyone away to avoid more pain? It's a vicious cycle, one that drains your energy and fuels your anxiety. Every interaction becomes a gamble, every glance, every word loaded with hidden meanings you desperately want to uncover but can't quite grasp. You feel exposed, yet powerless, like standing in the rain with no umbrella, soaking in the cold realization that you're always one step behind, always trying to catch up to what's real. This emotional turmoil eats away at your confidence, whispering that maybe you're simply not cut out for understanding others, that perhaps this is just the way people are, deceptive, guarded, unreachable. You ask yourself if you're doomed to remain in the dark, forever guessing, forever vulnerable to manipulation because you don't have the tools to see beyond the surface. The loneliness from this internal battle is suffocating, knowing that others seem to navigate this maze effortlessly while you stumble blindly, questioning your worth, your intuition, and your ability to truly connect. And the worst part? The more you try, the more you realize how much you don't understand, how much you're missing, how much they're hiding. And that realization leaves you feeling even more alone, more powerless, trapped in a cycle that feels unbreakable. Instead, you're lost in a fog of suspicion, questioning whether the smile from your partner is genuine or just a mask. You catch yourself analyzing every gesture, every word, trying to decode what's real and what's hidden behind a facade. It's exhausting, and it's only the beginning of your day. Throughout your routine, these moments repeat themselves. You find yourself walking into a meeting at work, but instead of focusing on the task, your eyes scan faces, searching for signs of deceit or hidden agendas. You notice subtle shifts in body language, small tics, nervous glances, that might mean nothing, but in your mind, they confirm your deepest fears, that you're being manipulated, played, kept at arm's length. You struggle to trust what people say, even those closest to you. Their words become riddled with ambiguity, and you're constantly questioning their sincerity. Every compliment sounds like a trap. Every gesture feels like a test. In social settings, you become hyper-aware of how you present yourself. You second-guess your words, afraid of revealing too much, fearing others might use your vulnerability against you. You catch yourself retreating into silence, feeling safer in your own guarded world. You avoid deep conversations because opening up feels dangerous. What if they see through you? What if they use your honesty as an advantage? The more you try to connect, the more you feel this invisible barrier closing in, suffocating your sense of genuine intimacy. These behaviors aren't isolated. They follow you everywhere. You find yourself overthinking simple interactions, replaying conversations in your mind, and obsessing over what was real and what was a lie. You constantly wonder if your perceptions are accurate or if you're just projecting your own fears onto others. It's a relentless cycle, doubting, analyzing, mistrusting, until the world around you feels like a maze of illusions. No matter how much you try to find clarity, your internal chaos only grows louder, the noise of your doubts drowning out the possibility of peace. As days go by, this emotional claustrophobia tightens around you. You feel trapped in your own mind, a prisoner of your fears and insecurities. The more you seek truth outside, the more you lose yourself inside. Each interaction is a test, each relationship a potential trap. You walk through your life with this heavy weight pressing down on your chest, an unspoken ache that never quite leaves. It's as if your whole existence is shrouded in a thick fog of suspicion, and no matter how much you try to clear it, the darkness persists. And so you carry this silent pain, this constant gnawing doubt that erodes your confidence and isolates you from the world you desperately want to trust. You wonder if you will ever find the courage to see beyond the masks, to understand the truth behind the facades, or if you're destined to remain forever lost in this labyrinth of uncertainty, suffocated by your own fears, caught in an endless cycle of mistrust and loneliness. Trust is the foundation of everything, yet it's the one thing we often find ourselves doubting the most. These words echo a truth that cuts deep into your soul, because right now, you're caught in a relentless storm of suspicion and uncertainty. You wake up, and even before your eyes fully open, a whisper of doubt begins to creep in about your partner, your colleagues, even your own perceptions. It's as if a shadow has settled over your mind, distorting every gesture, every word, every smile. And in that shadow, you ask yourself, am I truly seeing what's real? Or am I trapped in a web of illusions I've spun myself? This internal chaos is not random. It's rooted in a profound psychological concept, trust, or rather, the lack of it. You see, trust is more than just believing in others. It's the invisible thread that holds your sense of safety and certainty. When that thread frays, even slightly, your mind begins to weave a tapestry of suspicion. Every small action is scrutinized, every word analyzed, as if your survival depends on decoding hidden motives. And perhaps, in some twisted way, it does. Because if you don't trust, you're constantly preparing for betrayal, for manipulation, for the other shoe to drop. But here's the harsh truth. This relentless need to verify, to doubt everything, isn't just about the outside world. It's about your relationship with yourself. When trust erodes, what remains? A fragile, trembling core that questions every feeling, every instinct. You begin to wonder if your perceptions are real or just reflections of your fears. Every interaction becomes a test, every moment a battleground where your vulnerability feels like a weakness to be defended at all costs. And in that defensive stance, connection becomes impossible. You isolate yourself, not because you want to, but because trusting feels too risky. It feels safer to keep everyone at arm's length than to risk being hurt again. Ask yourself, do I really believe that I am safe in this world? Or am I secretly convinced that everyone is wearing a mask, hiding their true intentions? How much of my pain is rooted in a loss of trust? Trust in others, yes, but also in myself. What would it take for me to start rebuilding that trust? Knowing that it's the very foundation of emotional freedom. Because the truth is, this cycle of suspicion feeds itself. Every doubt feeds more doubt, creating a labyrinth where clarity is impossible. You may wonder if you'll ever escape this maze, if healing is even possible when your mind is so clouded. The answer lies in understanding that trust isn't something you find. It's something you choose to rebuild, piece by piece, in the face of your fears. And perhaps, just perhaps, the first step toward peace is acknowledging that your pain is not a sign of weakness, but a signal that something within needs your attention. As we move forward, I invite you to reflect on these questions, because understanding the roots of your distrust will set the stage for the next chapter, where you learn to read the signals behind the masks and finally begin to see the truth hidden beneath the illusions. You wake up every day feeling the weight of suspicion pressing on your chest, as if your mind is caught in an endless loop of doubt. This isn't weakness. It's a reflection of a deeply ingrained psychological pattern. Trust has become a fragile thread that you fear will snap at any moment. You might find yourself scrutinizing your partner's small gestures, questioning whether their smile hides hidden motives. Perhaps at work, you second-guess colleagues' intentions, convinced they're plotting something behind your back. These behaviors are not random. They're the manifestations of a subconscious pattern rooted in your past experiences, fears, and unresolved wounds. Think about your routine. How often do you dismiss a compliment from a friend, convinced they're just being polite but secretly harboring resentment? Or when a colleague offers help, you wonder if their offer is genuine or if they're trying to manipulate your workload for their benefit. These moments are direct reflections of a mind trapped in a cycle of distrust, where every interaction is filtered through suspicion. Your behavior, hypervigilance, overanalyzing words and actions, hesitating to fully open up, serves as a mirror to the core psychological pattern at play, a deep-seated fear that others' intentions are ultimately malicious or false. This pattern isn't a sign of weakness. It's an unconscious survival mechanism. It's the mind's way of protecting itself from potential betrayal, rejection, or disappointment. But in doing so, it traps you in a prison of your own making, a cycle where suspicion breeds isolation, and isolation deepens the distrust. You might not even realize that this pattern was formed in childhood or during past betrayals, and now it runs automatically, dictating your perceptions and reactions without your conscious awareness. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward liberation. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're caught in an old unconscious script that needs rewriting. The key is to understand that trust is a choice, something you can consciously decide to rebuild, one small step at a time. When you start questioning the automatic suspicion, when you challenge the belief that others are inherently untrustworthy, you begin to break free from the cycle. For example, if a friend makes a comment that triggers doubt, instead of immediately assuming malice, pause and reflect. Could there be a different, more compassionate explanation? When you catch yourself analyzing every word, ask, is this suspicion serving me, or am I simply repeating an old pattern? Imagine starting your day with a conscious intention to trust, even if only slightly. Notice how your interactions shift when you choose to see others through a lens of curiosity rather than suspicion. Recognize that these behaviors aren't flaws. They are survival strategies from a past that no longer defines your present. You're not weak for feeling distrustful. You're human, carrying the echoes of old wounds that need healing. This awareness opens the door to a new path, one where trust is no longer a gamble, but a conscious act of courage. And as you begin to dismantle this pattern, you'll realize that the journey to genuine connection starts with trusting yourself first. Now, let's move forward into understanding how to master this inner transformation, because your ability to read others and rebuild trust is within your reach. Have you ever felt like you're trapped inside your own mind, constantly scrutinizing every move, every word, as if the world is conspiring to betray you? That persistent suspicion, that unshakable doubt, begins to wear you down, eroding your sense of peace and connection. It's as if a silent voice within whispers that trusting others is a risk too great, that vulnerability only invites pain. And so, you build walls, thick, high, impenetrable, hoping that by isolating yourself, you can shield your heart from inevitable disappointment. But in doing so, you also imprison yourself in a lonely cell, cut off from the genuine human connection that your soul longs for. This cycle of suspicion stems from a profound psychological concept, the fear of betrayal rooted in unresolved wounds. It's a survival mechanism, born from past betrayals, rejection, or abandonment that convinces you that trust is dangerous. But what if this fear, your relentless vigilance, is actually a mask hiding a deeper pain? What if beneath all the doubt lies a vulnerability so raw that it's easier to mistrust than to face the possibility of being hurt again? And in avoiding that pain, aren't you also avoiding the healing, the growth, the chance to rebuild your sense of safety from within? Ask yourself, how much of your suffering is fueled not by others' actions, but by your own silent agreement to see the world through suspicious eyes? How often do you dismiss genuine affection, kindness, or love because your mind insists they are too good to be true? This is the paradox. Your need for control, your insistence on vigilance, stems from a desire to protect yourself, yet it often pushes away the very connection you crave. It's a cruel irony. By guarding your heart too fiercely, you keep it locked in a prison of loneliness. Now, the question is, how long are you going to continue living like this? How many more nights will you spend questioning yourself, your worth, the intentions of those around you? How much more pain will you accept as normal, as inevitable? You deserve more than this constant battle within, more than the endless cycle of suspicion and regret. You deserve to feel safe, to trust not because you are naive, but because you are brave enough to face your fears and acknowledge your wounds. Take a moment to reflect. What would it mean to let go of this burden? To loosen the grip of doubt and allow yourself to believe in the goodness that exists in others and in yourself. Trust is not a weakness. It's a courageous act of self-love and hope. It's a step toward healing, toward reconnecting with the authentic, vulnerable part of you that still longs to believe in the possibility of genuine love and connection. I invite you to share your thoughts. What are the stories you tell yourself about trust and betrayal? How do you see your own pain reflected in these stories? Remember, you are not alone in this struggle. Your vulnerability is a sign of strength, and your journey toward trust is a testament to your resilience. Let's open up these conversations. Your voice matters, because in sharing your story, you might just find the first step toward freeing yourself from the prison of suspicion. You walk into a crowded coffee shop, heart pounding slightly, hoping to catch a quick moment of peace before your day gets busier. You spot someone you know but haven't seen in a while. Instead of approaching confidently, your mind immediately races with doubts. Are they truly happy to see you? Do they have ulterior motives? Maybe they're just being polite, but you can't shake the feeling that everyone's hiding something, including yourself. You smile, but behind it, there's a wall rising up, a barrier built from past betrayals and broken trust. That tiny voice inside whispers, "Are they really my friend, or just pretending?" And suddenly your chest tightens with suspicion. Every small interaction carries this heavy weight. When a colleague offers a compliment, you wonder if they're just being nice or if they're secretly mocking you. When your partner says they love you, a part of you questions whether it's genuine or just a way to keep you close enough to control. These doubts aren't just fleeting thoughts. They're emotional anchors that keep you tethered to a cycle of suspicion. You might nod and thank them outwardly, but inside you feel a gnawing mistrust. You build invisible walls, distancing yourself from intimacy, from connection, because trusting feels too risky. You fear that if you let your guard down even slightly, you'll get hurt again, betrayed, abandoned, humiliated. In daily life, this manifests as avoiding deeper conversations, keeping people at arm's length, or second-guessing every gesture. You might withdraw from social events, convinced that everyone has an agenda, that no one is truly authentic. The more you try to protect yourself, the more isolated you become, sinking into a quiet despair. You crave genuine connection, but feel trapped in a cycle of suspicion that only deepens your loneliness. The pain of this emotional prison is invisible but relentless. Each small act of trust turned into a potential threat. Each interaction a battlefield. You feel the ache of wanting love, acceptance, and belonging, yet fearing that opening up will only lead to more pain. It's a suffocating cycle, and deep down you wonder if true freedom from this doubt will ever be possible. Imagine walking into a coffee shop, your heart pounding just a little too fast. You notice someone smiling at you, and instantly your mind races with doubts. Are they genuinely interested? Or are they just being polite? Do they see you as worth their time? Or are they just passing by? These questions linger, fueling a quiet anxiety that makes it hard to relax. This is the silent battle many of us fight daily, trusting enough to connect, or guarding ourselves so fiercely that intimacy remains just out of reach. In your personal and romantic life, this pattern of emotional self-neglect often begins subtly. You crave affection, understanding, and genuine connection. Yet every time someone shows kindness, your defenses rise. You might dismiss a compliment with a nervous laugh, thinking they don't really mean it, or question a partner's flirtatious gesture, suspecting hidden motives. Over time, these suspicions become a barrier, a wall that prevents real intimacy. Instead of accepting love openly, you analyze every word, every touch, searching for signs of insincerity. Deep down, you might even believe that if you let yourself trust fully, you could be hurt again. And so, you keep your heart guarded, avoiding vulnerability at all costs. This pattern reinforces feelings of loneliness and unworthiness. You might find yourself settling for superficial interactions, afraid to risk genuine closeness. When someone expresses affection, you respond with skepticism, as if love is a game you can't win. You avoid deep conversations, fearing what might emerge if you reveal your true self. It's exhausting, this constant vigilance, and it chips away at your self-esteem. You may even view your reluctance as a safeguard, but in truth, it's a prison, one built from past wounds and reinforced by your own fears. The more you withdraw, the more isolated you become, convincing yourself that love isn't meant for you, that your needs are too much, or that vulnerability will only lead to pain. Now, ask yourself, what if you dared to trust, just a little? What if you allowed yourself to believe that genuine affection exists and that you are deserving of it? The truth is, your past wounds don't have to define your future. You can choose to break free from this cycle of self-neglect. It starts with recognizing your patterns, confronting your fears, and daring to be vulnerable. Because real connection requires risk, and the greatest betrayal is the one you commit when you deny yourself the love you desperately need. So, I ask you now, are you ready to stop building walls and start opening your heart? Because the love you crave might be waiting just beyond your fears, if only you have the courage to step forward. When you carry unspoken pain, unresolved fears, or lingering doubts, it doesn't just stay in your head, it manifests physically, shaping your health in subtle but powerful ways. Notice the tightness in your chest when you're anxious, the knots in your stomach during a confrontation, or the relentless headaches that seem to appear out of nowhere. These are not random. They are your body's cry for help, signaling that your emotional boundaries are being crossed and neglected. Your physical health is intricately linked to how well you manage your internal world. When you ignore your feelings, whether it's anger, sadness, or vulnerability, you are essentially telling your body that it's too much, that it must hold in what it cannot express. Over time, this repression can lead to chronic stress, which weakens your immune system, fuels inflammation, and increases vulnerability to illnesses like colds, flu, or even more severe conditions such as cardiovascular disease. Psychosomatic symptoms are the body's way of trying to communicate what your mind refuses to acknowledge. For example, a person who feels overwhelmed by emotional demands may develop frequent migraines, as if their mind is trying to force attention to what is being ignored. Someone else might experience persistent backaches, a physical reminder that they are carrying emotional burdens they refuse to set down. Anxiety often manifests as tight jaw muscles or clenched fists, signaling suppressed anger or frustration. These physical responses are not isolated. They are direct reflections of emotional neglect. When you fail to create healthy boundaries and allow others to overstep, your body responds by tightening muscles, increasing heart rate, or disrupting sleep, all signs of internal distress. Your body is begging you to listen, to respect your emotional needs, and to establish boundaries that protect your mental and physical well-being. Ignoring these signals only worsens the cycle. The more you suppress your feelings, the more your body reacts with symptoms that drain your energy and erode your vitality. Chronic tension, fatigue, digestive issues, and even skin problems are often rooted in unprocessed emotional pain. Your body is a loyal messenger, tirelessly trying to alert you that your emotional health matters as much as your physical health. It's time to stop dismissing these signs. It's time to recognize that your body is pleading for emotional boundaries, for space to breathe and feel without fear of judgment or rejection. If you continue to ignore this, the suffering will only deepen, pulling you further away from the peace and vitality you deserve. Wake up. Your body is crying out for you to finally listen and take action now. You're constantly pouring out, but never filling back up. Over time, this relentless giving becomes a silent, steady erosion of your strength. It's as if you're caught in a cycle of emotional snowballing, where each small act of acquiescence feeds the next. The more you give in, the more others demand. It's like a never-ending game where your compliance encourages more requests, more demands, more expectations. Every time you say yes, a tiny part of you feels a little more shattered, a little more exhausted. But you keep going, because saying no feels like risking everything. Your peace, your relationships, your self-respect. So you push through, convinced that if you hold on just a little longer, it'll get better. But it doesn't. It's like building a wall of fatigue brick by brick, each act of self-sacrifice adding to the collapse. The exhaustion isn't just physical, it's emotional, like a dull ache that settles deep within your core. You wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep, your mind clouded with constant worry and an underlying sense of resentment. Your patience wears thin faster, small frustrations turn into full-blown anger. Yet you swallow it, afraid to rock the boat. Month after month, this cycle deepens, and the weight becomes heavier, more oppressive. Your energy dwindles, your boundaries blur, until even simple conversations feel like battles. And all the while, you wonder how it got so bad. How did you become someone who's constantly giving yet never receiving? How did this endless drain of your spirit turn into a daily routine? It's like trying to carry water in a leaky bucket. No matter how much you pour in, the emptiness remains. As the months pass, this cycle doesn't slow. It spirals deeper, faster. The emotional exhaustion sinks into your bones. You begin to question whether this endless giving is worth it, whether you'll ever find a way out. And then you ask yourself, when does it stop? Imagine the lives we can transform when more people unlock the secrets to genuine connection and self-awareness. Your like is a small act with the power to ignite big changes, both in your world and in the world around you. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on everything you've learned. We've explored how unspoken emotions, fear, anger, vulnerability, can quietly build up inside, manifesting as physical pain, emotional exhaustion, and a sense of being trapped in endless cycles. We've delved into the profound psychological tactics inspired by Machiavelli, revealing how understanding these strategies can help you read others more deeply and protect your own emotional well-being. We've seen how the pain of suppression leads to a cycle of emotional repetition, where giving too much without receiving leaves you drained, isolated, and questioning your worth. But here's the truth. This cycle does not have to define you. You have the power to break free. You can choose to listen to your body's signals, set healthy boundaries, and cultivate the courage to express your true feelings. This is your moment to reclaim your energy, restore your inner balance, and forge more authentic, meaningful connections. Your journey toward emotional freedom starts with awareness, and that awareness is already within you. You are capable of transforming pain into strength, exhaustion into vitality, and loneliness into genuine connection. Believe in your power to change because the best version of yourself is waiting on the other side of this understanding. Embrace this moment. Your future self will thank you. Deep inside, there is a resilient power waiting to be awakened, a strength that can reshape your reality and open doors you once thought were closed. Every moment is a new beginning. Every challenge you face is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, more in tune with your true self. The tools and insights shared here are not just strategies. They are keys to unlocking your potential, to stepping into the confident, authentic version of yourself. Believe in the possibility of transformation, because it is real. It starts with a simple choice: to see yourself not as a victim of circumstances, but as the creator of your future. When you embrace this truth, the limitations that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve. Your mind and heart become allies in your journey, guiding you toward authenticity, connection, and inner peace. Remember, the problem does not define you. Your setbacks do not determine your destiny. The power to rewrite your story is already within you, waiting for your acknowledgement and courage to act. You are capable of profound change, of healing old wounds, breaking free from cycles of doubt, and building a life filled with purpose and joy. So, step into that power today. Trust in your ability to transform pain into strength, fear into courage, and doubt into unwavering belief. The future you desire is not just a distant dream. It's a future you can create starting now. You are stronger than your struggles, wiser than your worries, and more capable than you realize. Embrace this truth and move forward with hope, knowing that your best days are still ahead. The next chapter of your life begins with your choice to believe in yourself. Let's move into that new chapter together, because your transformation starts today. You now see that beneath the surface, there are hidden psychological forces at play, forces you can learn to recognize and harness. This knowledge isn't just about reading people more effectively, it's about awakening your own inner strength and stepping into a new level of self-awareness and control. You hold the key to transforming your interactions, building deeper connections, and shaping your reality with intention and confidence. The choice to change, to grow, and to master your instincts lies entirely in your hands. Every moment is an opportunity to decide, will you remain passive or will you take charge of your emotional and psychological evolution? Remember, transformation begins with that first conscious decision, right now, today. So, I invite you to take this moment as a turning point. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications so you won't miss the next step in your journey, and most importantly, watch the video I'm leaving here on the screen. That video is the next vital chapter in your transformation story, guiding you even further into understanding yourself and others. This is your moment to choose growth, to embrace your power, and to step boldly into the life you deserve. The future is yours to create, and it starts with this simple but profound decision. Believe in your potential and take that next step now.